Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. We also have Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at TPM Videos. Audio animatronics are a staple of Disney rides and attractions. These impressive robotic figures are a key to the storytelling, bringing many fictitious worlds right to life. The term audio animatronic has been used by the Walt Disney Company since 1961, and since Disneyland was the first Disney theme park, it's where the earliest animatronics debuted. In 1963, the Tiki Room birds found their home in Adventureland, and shortly after in 1964, Abraham Lincoln debuted at the 1964 World's Fair. But more about him a little later on. Now, we previously did a video showcasing the must-see animatronics at Walt Disney World in Florida, so now it's the Disneyland Resort's turn in California. Among the dozens of rides at the Disneyland Park and Disney California Adventure, there's no shortage of impressive animatronics, with a lot of them being exclusive to Disneyland. So today, we're going to be counting down the top 10 must-see audio animatronics at Disneyland. Number 10. Abraham Lincoln. We're starting this list off with an animatronic from a very historical Disneyland attraction. Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln opened at the Opera House in Town Square on July 18, 1965, and it was actually a duplicate of the show from the 1964 World's Fair. That one stayed open until October 1965. Now, Abraham Lincoln was Disney's first life-sized human audio animatronic. Audiences in 1964 were thoroughly impressed when Lincoln rose from his chair to give a speech.
What constitutes the bulwark of our liberty and independence?
Today, 54 years later, it's still as impressive seeing an animatronic that's capable of standing up and sitting down. The original animatronic figure used hydraulics, but in 2009, after a 5-year hiatus, Lincoln received an upgrade to utilize electric actuators, making him the first human animatronic figure with an electric head and face. This allowed him to achieve maximum fluidity and a greater range of facial expressions. Just take a look at the subtle movements in his cheeks, upper lip, and eyebrows.
Our bristling sea coasts. These are not our reliance.
Although a lot of people forget about this attraction, it's definitely worth checking it out just to see this amazing Abraham Lincoln animatronic. Number 9. C-3PO and R2-D2. In a galaxy far, far away in Tomorrowland, you'll find Star Tours. Disneyland is in fact the original home of this attraction, and it officially opened on January 9th, 1987. At that time, it was the first ride built that wasn't based on a property owned by Disney, and Star Wars creator George Lucas helped design the ride. Like the other versions of Star Tours around the world, the C-3PO and R2-D2 animatronics can be found in the ride's queue entertaining guests while they wait in line. But these animatronics at Disneyland are pretty unique, since they're actual props from the movies.
What is it now, R2?
Since George Lucas was heavily involved in creating Star Tours, he wanted the ride to be as authentic as possible, so he gave Imagineering some items from the movies. This included a C-3PO costume and an R2-D2 prop. Imagineers took these two items and retrofitted them into the audio animatronics that exist today. Knowing this little bit of Star Wars history definitely makes these two animatronics even more interesting and a definite must-see at Disneyland.
Don't insult me over the scrap pile. At least I'm doing my job.
Number 8. Rocket Raccoon. Heading across the way to Disney California Adventure, you'll find Disneyland's newest audio animatronic in Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
That was not part of the plan!
The ride opened on May 27, 2017, replacing the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Inside the ride's pre-show rooms, you'll find Rocket Raccoon hanging out above the bookshelf. Now, although this animatronic is small in size, the figure is pretty impressive and brings the character right to life.
The name's Rocket, one of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Aside from the fact that sometimes his arm movements feel a little stiff, the animatronic is still fairly fluid overall.
But
Since Mission Breakout has 2 pre-show rooms, That means there's 2 Rocket animatronics, but they aren't completely identical.
What?
Since the bookshelf is placed on opposite sides of the rooms, his remote is in opposite hands, and the animatronics' movements are actually mirrored.
I get the clearance, and the chaos begins! It's a foolproof plan!
Rocket Raccoon is the perfect added touch to further enhance your experience on Mission Breakout. Number 7. The HATBOX Ghost. Back at Disneyland, the Haunted Mansion in New Orleans Square is home to 999 happy haunts, including the HATBOX Ghost, who found his home at the attraction in May of 2015. Many illusions, tricks, and lighting effects are used to create the ghoulish delights in the Haunted Mansion, and the HATBOX Ghost is no exception. He has a projected face and utilizes some other tricks that allow his head to disappear and reappear in the HATBOX. It's truly Disney magic. Now, the HATBOX Ghost dates all the way back to 1969, just before the attraction opened at Disneyland. He originally appeared on the ride, but the lighting effect used on the figure just wasn't working properly, so the animatronic was removed before the Haunted Mansion officially opened. When the HATBOX Ghost returned for Disneyland's 60th anniversary, they may have not given him an extended range of motion, but its historical significance and the illusion it uses makes this animatronic a must-see at Disneyland. Number 6. Buzz Lightyear. We're gonna head to infinity and beyond as we take a peek into Tomorrowland's Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. The ride opened in March of 2005, and as soon as you enter the indoor queue, you'll be greeted by a life-size Buzz Lightyear animatronic.
All right, you Junior Space Rangers, listen up.
Now, Buzz Lightyear at Disneyland seems to move with much more fluidity and ease than the figure at Magic Kingdom in Florida. This A100 figure is 7 years newer, and was the first advanced animatronic at Disneyland that utilized a projected face. But this is one of those things that looks a lot better in person than it does on camera. With an extended range of motion in his waist and torso, plus quicker movements, it allows the animatronic to appear even more lifelike. So definitely pay special attention to Buzz Lightyear while you wait in line.
To infinity and beyond.
Number 5. Captain Jack Sparrow and his crew. Nestled into New Orleans Square, we'll find the next set of animatronics on Pirates of the Caribbean. In California, the ride uses over 120 different pirate and animal animatronics, but there's a few figures on the ride that are more advanced than others. In June of 2006, the ride was refurbished to include A100 figures of Captain Jack Sparrow. He appears 3 times on the ride, perfectly capturing Johnny Depp's mannerisms and movements from his character in the film. These figures are so fluid and lifelike that back in April of 2017, when Johnny Depp showed up as Captain Jack on the ride, people thought he was just a new animatronic. So this is really telling of how convincing Disney's animatronic technology really is. Other advanced animatronics on the ride to keep an eye out for are Captain Barbossa, the Buccaneer, and of course, the Auctioneer.
I'm not sponging for rum, it be gold I'm after.
Number 4. Mr. Potato Head. Making our way through Pixar Pier at Disney California Adventure, we'll check out Toy Story Midway Mania, where it's home to a very impressive Mr. Potato Head audio animatronic.
Our games will test your skill like nothing else ever will.
He made his debut in June of 2008, stands approximately 5 feet tall, and actually marks a few audio animatronic milestones. Mr. Potato Head was one of the first animatronics that actually moved its lips to form words and vowels. He also has the most recorded dialogue of any animatronic ever, with about 20 minutes worth, where cast members can choose which piece to use to interact with guests. Mr. Potato Head also used to do a really fun bit where he removed his ear and then put it back in place, but he unfortunately no longer does this. Apparently, the software that allows his ear to go back into place stopped working, and he was constantly dropping his ear, so the park stopped using this feature. Aside from that, Mr. Potato Head is one of the most fluid animatronics, and is the ultimate carnival barker that makes waiting in line just that much more enjoyable.
Step right up and see what's inside.
Number 3. Ursula. Across the bay in Paradise Park, The Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure opened in June of 2011. The ride is filled with animatronics, but none of them compare to the 12-foot wide and 7.5-foot tall Ursula figure. This is the same animatronic that's at Magic Kingdom in Florida, but California Adventure debuted theirs 1 year earlier. When you're up close watching Ursula, you see just how fluid and precise her movements are, including the squash and stretch of her torso and the movement of her tentacles. Just take a look at how expressive her eyes are as well.
Repentance in the light and made us switch
Imagineers brought all of her characterization traits from the film right to life in this highly realistic animatronic. Number 2. The Maleficent Dragon. Disneyland's nighttime spectacular Fantasmic is home to one of the largest animatronics at a Disney theme park. Standing 45 feet tall and weighing about 18,000 pounds, Murphy the Dragon, whose nickname came from Murphy's Law, finally made her debut in the show after many complications on September 1st, 2009. One of the animatronic's highlights is its ability to breathe a 35-foot stream of fire into the rivers of America. It's truly a sight to see. This dragon is massive, and to get a good idea of the scale, just take a look at the size of Mickey Mouse next to it. The dragon is stored under the stage, where it contracts to 22 feet. Then within 35 seconds, it rises on an elevator to appear in the show. For an animatronic of the size, its movements are very fluid, especially after the show's refurb and return in July of 2017. So you don't want to miss Fantasmic. Number 1. The Cars of Radiator Springs. Cars Land at Disney California Adventure is by far the most immersive land at the Disneyland Resort. Everything is highly detailed, from the Cadillac Mountain Range to the Cars animatronics on Radiator Springs racers. The attraction opened with the land on June 15, 2012, and each of the 23 animatronics on the ride deserves your full attention. They all utilize projected eyes that allow for more expressive features, and some of the characters, like Lightning McQueen and Sally Carrera, use projected images for their mouths as well. Other characters like the Sheriff, Doc Hudson, and Mater all have articulated mouths, where the bottom bumpers and grills move in a way where they appear to form words.
It takes more than new tires to win a race.
Since these animatronics are fully electric figures, Mater is probably the best example of how fluid the animatronic movements really are.
Howdy! Here for the big race, huh? It's gonna be...
Be prepared to be amazed as you take a ride through Radiator Springs at Disney California Adventure. So, what's your favorite audio animatronic at Disneyland? Either from this list, or maybe one we didn't mention. Leave a comment down below and start a conversation. Also, if you'd like to see a part 2 of animatronics from Disneyland, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you have any videos from the Disney parks that you'd like to share with us to be used in future videos, follow the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Click the TPM icon on the screen to subscribe to this channel, and check out some of these other videos which we're sure you'll like.